You need to make your way to Schoology, and you are looking for the assignment 602, Work to Kinetic Energy RA. Okay, that is the assignment that you need to open up. When you find it on Schoology, you will be able to open up your own Google Sheet. Now, if you're working with a partner, you only need one Google Sheet between the two of you. Okay, so you need to figure out whose sheet you're going to use, and then you can open up that sheet, and then, of course, you'll need to share it with the other person. So if Emily and I are working together, we can use Emily's sheet, and she can share it with me. Okay, or we can use mine and I can share it with her. But regardless, both of you need to be able to edit and have edit access to that sheet. Okay, please don't make a copy of it. Okay, in fact, don't do that because we need to be working in the one that's in Schoology. Okay, otherwise it's going to look like you're cheating on it whenever you copy paste a bunch of stuff in there. Okay, and we can see when you're making copies of those things. So, again, this is what you're going to open up. When you open it, it looks like this, except yours won't have numbers in here. You need to type in your student ID number in theirs, and you can do that right now, or you can do that in a minute. It should automatically pull up your name, and then you're going to click the Lab tab at the bottom of the screen. Okay, when you click the Lab tab, it's going to take you to the lab. All of the instructions are on here. So, what you're doing in this lab, your investigation questions say to determine the factors that affect the work done on an object and or its resulting kinetic energy, and to describe the mathematical relationships between any factors that affect your work and or kinetic energy. And it tells you to start by going to this website. When you click on the cell, you should be able to actually click the link from there, but it's going to open up this screen. This is a website called the Physics Aviary, and it has a bunch of digital simulations, kind of similar to what you'd see on PhET or Gizmo, except with this one, it's a little bit, you have to actually run the simulation. It works more like it would if it was real world. You have to like start the timer and stop the timer at the right times and things like that. Okay, but either way, it is a simulation, and if you go back to your instructions, it says read these instructions on the screen carefully, then click begin. So you're going to read through this, and again, y'all can do this on your own in a minute, and then click begin, and it's going to look like this. So this is what the actual simulation looks like once you have clicked begin. Let's go back to our instructions. That's the main reason why I said pairs, is so that you don't have to go back and forth like I'm doing on my screen right now. If you have two different screens up, you can look at one and then look at the other without having to click different tabs. But it says there are arrows toward the bottom of the lab that allow you to adjust the values for force and mass. Note that the default force is 115 newtons and the default mass is 70 kilograms. You will adjust these as needed for the trials below. There are distance markings every 5 meters. The astronaut's beginning position is marked as 0 meters. Note that the photo gates are located at the 70 and 80 meter marks and appear as red lines. So let me show you what it's telling you. You have arrows here to adjust these things. These red lines are your photo gates. What a photo gate does is it allows you to start and stop a timer automatically whenever something trips the photo gate. So when the astronaut passes through it, it'll start a timer automatically, and it will stop the timer when he hits the second red line. So it's basically telling you how much time it takes him to travel between these two red lines. Okay, and of course, if you know the time and the distance between the red lines, you can figure out how fast he's going at the end. So that's kind of the idea here. But you'll be adjusting these values as you're instructed to, and then you'll run the lab by clicking this activate button. Okay, and then he will, and again it tells you what to do, but he will pass through, I'm just going to click it there, but he'll pass through the photo gate and it sets off the timer. Okay, so that for that particular trial that I just did was 819 milliseconds. Okay, but again, it's going to tell you what to do. It says when you're ready to run a trial, click the activate button to turn on the fire extinguisher and accelerate the astronaut across the screen. I think this was inspired by the movie WALL-E, where he uses the fire extinguisher to shoot around. If you haven't seen it, it's a cute scene. But with the astronaut and the fire extinguisher, I think that's what they're going with. But it says you can click shut off at any time to stop the fire extinguisher. Click reset to set it up after the next trial after each test. Okay, so you're going to start with a pre-lab today, which is going to kind of get you used to using the simulation, and again, it walks you through it. So again, I'm going to leave you guys to it because you're going to be filling this stuff in. The pre-lab is going to give you feedback over here to the side. Right now I have X's because everything is blank, but of course if I fill it in and if I do so correctly and it's consistent, then this should change to a check mark, indicating that I have it right. It does not do that for the entire lab. Okay, it's just portions of it that give you some feedback. Okay, but those portions, you can take a look and make sure you're doing it right. And of course, if you have questions, let me know. When you're done with the pre-lab, you get to the actual lab itself and the procedure there. And again, everything is outlined down here, and it's going to have you, read procedure steps, and then it's going to have you recording data. And the data tables are down below in the green section. So again, you have today and tomorrow to work on this. If you haven't looked at the calendar, you've got 2 different days to work on this. So your goal today is going to be to get as much of that data collected as you can. But if you don't finish it, you'll be able to do so tomorrow. Okay, so once you have that data, you'll be able to do the questions in here for your data analysis, and then there are extension questions underneath that. And again, some of these do provide you with feedback, some of them don't. So just be aware of that. You can check anything that does tell you how it looks. Go ahead, and if you haven't already done so, find a partner to work with and go ahead and start reading through the pre-lab steps, or if you need to, read through the information on that first screen here. But follow the directions that are on there. And then go ahead and get started. As much as you can get done today will make your life a little bit easier tomorrow. You only have 2 class days to work on it. It's not due till next week, so if you don't have it finished by the end of the period tomorrow, you will have to work on it outside of class, but it's digital and it's a shared doc, so that should not be an issue. All right, go ahead and get to it. If you have questions as you are working, please let me know.